Good afternoon. Again, I'm Tanya Jordan. I am 47 years old, I think. I'm the mother of two. I have a 25-year-old and a 18-year-old. I just became an empty nester, not liking it too well. But like she said, I started my journey in March of 2014. My father died the year before with complications from diabetes and high blood pressure, and he ended up on dialysis. When I went to the doctor in March, I found out my A1C was 8.6, and my doctor wasn't very pleased with that. So I decided I was going to go back to Weight Watchers and try it again for the 100th time. I did Weight Watchers on and off for so many years. I've been overweight, I say since birth, and finally I went back to Weight Watchers and I started trying to exercise and just get a little active, and then I decided that I really wasn't doing the exercises and stuff like I thought I should. So I asked a couple of people, my friend Michelle and a lot of people at the gym, if you would get a personal trainer, who would you choose? And everybody said Robin Castro. Even people I didn't ask suggested that I should get Robin Castro as a trainer. So of course I had seen her before in the gym and I was very intimidated by her. And I was not somebody that I thought would want to deal with someone that's over 300 pounds. And so she took me on as a trainer, and she tried to kill me. I'm just kidding. No, she really didn't. She really did. But I'm gonna go back to the Weight Watchers part. I had to really learn how to eat again. And I'm learning through this process that you can exercise per her. And it's true, I find it to be true. You can exercise every day, 10 hours a day. But if you do not put the right thing in your mouth, it's wasted time. It really is. So with that being said, with being overweight, I had a lot of challenges. I had issues with walking from my desk to my bathroom on my floor. I didn't realize until Robin came up there one day that it was only 50 feet from my desk to the bathroom. And that was very hard for me. I had a hard time, tying my shoes. My children became my slaves. They had to do a lot for me, and they shouldn't, because I'm fairly young. And also with my everyday living was a challenge. Just getting up, going to work, being tired. But after I started exercising, I love it. I love exercising. I go to the gym at least 5 days a week. I crazily take a boot camp, that I actually love. I miss is stop. Whereas if a lot of people if you're familiar with burpees, because of my size, I was unable to do a burpee. So I did a reverse lunge, because with every exercise it's a modification. I did a reverse lunge, and then I told Robin about how I really would like to be able to do a burpee. So she came up with me a modification from the stage at the wellness center, that instead of going to the floor, as she could say, the floor came to me, and I went to the stage, and I practiced on that. I practiced on that at home until actually I can finally do a burpee. They're not perfect, but I can do a burpee. Also, the same person that was unable to walk, I can run. I did the 5K Labor Day race last year. I did it the year before, and it took me an hour and 10 minutes to complete it. I was very excited. Last year I completed the race in 50 minutes. And I walked, ran. The first race, I was probably like the third, fourth person from the end. That's even with the 10K people. but I wasn't in it for a competition against anybody. It was just really for myself. But I was just so excited when this crazy lady that was beside me, which was my trainer, she said, "Look behind you." And I could not believe the number of people that were behind me. It just felt good. It felt good. And it felt good crossing the finish line. Well, running, yes, I ran across the finish line. But I have a few pictures that along my journey. And I think Robin is, well, the picture on the left, that was me in 2012 in Las Vegas. The picture on the right, that's me in Las Vegas this past July for my daughter's wedding. I was very excited. The first year in Vegas, I struggled. I could not walk. I cried. My friend Tiffany, who came in, she can vouch. I called her a lot crying because I wanted to come home. But I made it through that. That's me. I'm in, where was I at? In the Bahamas. Yeah, I couldn't sit up straight in the chair because of my size. I just slid down, but of course I still allow somebody to take that picture. Anybody want to guess how old I am on that picture? 15. I was 15 years old. That's me in my So Fine swimsuit, okay? This is a chair that I search for every day at work because it doesn't have arms on it. Pretty much most of the chairs on my floor, they have arms, and I could not fit in those chairs, and I'm the secretary, so I need to be comfortable all day. And so now I sit in the chair with arms on it, and I'm so excited about it. I'm really excited. That's another picture of me in my other world. That's me at my favorite place with my now son-in-law. That's a picture of me and my friend in the Bahamas, and that's a current picture of the two of us. Another thing that I would have never done in the past is go outside of the wellness center and exercise. I went to Gwinnett County to visit my daughter, and I found a Zumba class, something that I love, and I was excited about it. I didn't care what anybody else thought. I just enjoyed the class. And that's me crossing the finish line. Those are a few. Yeah. She called it the color purple moment. I call it.
That's only because somebody said you look like silly and whatever. Daddy.
But actually, that was a very very emotional time. That's my friend Tiffany, who decided to do the race with me the morning before, right? That's me in my old So Fine jeans. I used to really call them, they were my So Fines, yes. Yes, they're size 36. That's me in Miami, finding a gym to work out in. But when you go on vacation with your trainer. but no, actually I packed my clothes with the intentions of working out there. Now, hope no one gets offended. My proud moment of this picture is the left, a very flat booty. The right is the booty that I'm building. squats work, believe me. That's me being tortured at the gym. She said that she don't torture me, but what does that look like? That looks like torture to me. Those are those So Fine jeans. And that's me and my youngest daughter. That was the first race, and that was the second race. Wow. And actually, at the first race, my now son-in-law, he asked for my daughter's hand in marriage at that race. So both races mean a whole lot to me. And that's my babies. I think that's it. That's it.
Can you talk about raising children as an overweight mom?
Yes. You know, a comedian said one time, I heard on the radio, they said that if you follow overweight kids home, you would find an overweight parent. I thought that was the meanest thing in the world. And then I thought about my situation. As an overweight parent, I raised kids with weight issues. And as a parent, yes, I regret that, because now my daughters struggle with their weight. And and that's because I didn't teach them healthy living, healthy eating, exercising. That wasn't a requirement in my home. And as a mother, that's one of my most disappointing things, because when I only have 2 girls, and they're my life, and watching both of them now, deal with weight issues because of things that I could have changed, it's hurting. And so my advice to anyone that's, if you got children, Burger King, McDonald's is not the place for after school, snack. My youngest daughter was still home when I started this journey, and she started trying to eat healthier and exercising with me. Then she started dating. So that became a different problem. But if I would advise any parent, cook. I mean, cook. It's nothing wrong with cooking. And the containers that you can buy, I was telling someone at work yesterday, they make these things now that are called lunch bags. And they make freezer packs that will go in them. So, you can't say, well, I don't have time. Well, guess what? If you don't make time for those babies now, then later on, they're going to have problems that you don't want them to have.
Can I just piggyback off that really quickly? Just, in addition to, like you said, if you don't make time now, the other thing is that you may not be around later. I mean, I have, clients I have older clients in their 70s and 80s, but I have clients that I'm concerned, not so much they won't see their children get married, but they won't see their children graduate from middle school. Okay? So, sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. And because with that, let me tell you about my life with my oldest daughter. When she graduated from high school, I was sitting on the end of the chair at the Coliseum because I couldn't sit back in the chair because I couldn't fit in it. And when this year my youngest daughter graduated, it was very exciting to sit back in the chair. It was very exciting that, as each one of my several guests called me, that I was at the very bottom. I was at the bottom, near the stage, that I was able to get up and walk up and meet people. No, I'm here. I'm not going any further. If I can get anybody to do anything, just to get moving, just move. the program that Mercer is offering, this wellness program, I think this is awesome. Because if your job doesn't care about, you know, your health, then, you know, you're fighting a battle, because you probably spend more time at your job than you do at home with your family. So, and I love the fact of that you serve grilled chicken. That is something awesome for me.
Just really quickly, I just want to say that, you know, Tanya, as you can tell, Tanya is a fighter, okay? Tanya is a fighter. Let's see if I not get emotional. This woman in the beginning, I mean, she got my name or whatever. She pursued me. I mean, I can't remember what I had going on. You probably remember.
You're in Maryland.
Okay, I was in Maryland. Okay, I'm originally from there. I was visiting family, but well, I'll say it's politically correct to say she pursued me, but she really harassed me. But the point is, she didn't give up on me. I mean, she was, you know, I was like, that Tanya Jordan's calling me. You can't get it right now. But so, you know, there's a lesson in that. You know, she didn't just, well, she didn't call me back today, and oh well, I tried. No, that's not trying. You know, so many times we give up when we're so close to the mark. So that's the first thing I want to point out. She pursued me. So I mean, I think I've been blessed equally, if not even more, you know, just by her tenacity and her perseverance and her dedication. I mean, she does not make excuses in terms of in the gym. You know, for the most part, just about anything I ask her to try, she's willing to try. And if we have to modify it, we modify it. You know, she has had more successes than failures as it relates to her eating. You know, a lot of times we focus on, you know, that day we screwed up, or that cheat meal that turned into a cheat week. Okay, get over it, move on. You know, I can stand here as a trainer and honestly tell you that you have been more successful with your eating than you have failed. And I know that's been a challenge because, you know, we have all
I love food.
Well, yeah, I do too. I mean, most people do. We have all kinds of challenges coming at us, all kinds of influences. You know, we have people, you know, that sweet person on the job that's always bringing those baked goods. You know, I mean, it's just, it's everywhere. But that's life. It's going to be that way. We're not going to be able to confine ourselves to this little bubble where everything just kind of fits inside and everything and everybody caters to us. That's why you just have to make some decisions and make some choices. And that's what she does daily, sometimes hourly. I'm just honored to be a part of this process, honestly, because I mean what's that?
She didn't say that this morning when she was like, she made me do squat jumps.
I don't make her do anything.
And I
just asked her.
And I told her, I said, you do know, I said, you do know I'm planning on wearing heels today. And that's another thing. And my mother can vouch for that. I noticed that she's came in back there. I never wore heels, mainly because it hurt my knees, you know. And just saying. I have some really strong legs. I have a butt.
Lord, she's butt obsessed.
Really,
but, the other thing, in terms of not making excuses, what you said, you alluded to in terms of making time. You were talking about cooking, but also making time for exercising. How many hours a day do you work?
12.
12.
4 days a week.
7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And she still finds a way to either come before work or come after work. And, you know, my point here is that you make time for the things that are important to you. And some days it feels like everything is important to you, but you have to prioritize. You have to prioritize. You know, we all, well, I don't know about anybody else in this room, but I need my job. I have to work. So, you know, yes, we all have to, most of us have to work, and we need that job. It provides, you know, the income that we need to live, and I get that. But at the end of the day, nobody ever says, man, I wish I would have spent more time at work. You know, when you're about to take that last breath. So you know, and a lot of times it's really about, in terms of at the end of the journey, it's really about, you know, spending time with family, and that's great. I'm all about that. I have a family that I love being around. But going back to what I said earlier, you know, if you're dealing with health issues, and hopefully you'll start working out before it becomes a medical crisis. But if you're dealing with health issues or things that are preventable that your doctor has even told you, eat right and exercise, you may not, and I'm not trying to be negative, but you may not be around for that family that you love so much. I think one of the most selfless, not selfish, one of the most selfless things you can do for your family is to take care of yourself. Not only does it hopefully have you around longer, but if you have children, like Tanya said, what an example it sets. What an example it sets. And I know that's easier said than done, but, you know, not to disrespect anybody, because I don't know a lot of you in here, but in terms of your situation and all the balls that you're juggling, you're not unique in that. Join the club. It's 2016. Who's not juggling? Anybody in here not juggling balls in the air? Exactly. So your situation really isn't that unique. But just look around you. There's probably at least one or two people at each table that have figured out how to do it. So, you know, use your resources. And then, like Tanya said, this program here, I mean, you guys can just, I mean, I wish that all workplaces had something like this that encourages and supports and advocates for health and wellness. Anybody have any questions? Yes.
I have a question. I hear a lot of folks who are convinced, I know Tanya, you mentioned that, I know Robin, you mentioned it, are convinced that all they need to do is exercise in order to lose weight. Can you talk a little about, both of you, about how that's not necessarily correct?
I'm the professional on that. Because let me tell you, I go to the gym 5 days a week, okay? That's my friend there next to you. I take Zumba from her on Mondays. If boot camp is going on, I go to boot camp Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. Then I come to Zumba. On Wednesdays, I pretty much work out maybe 4 or 5 times a day. I take RIP twice. If it's boot camp, I take boot camp, and then it's another class that I start taking that I enjoy, and then I train. And I do all of that. But guess what? I managed to gain 15 pounds.
Not eating right.
Just not eating right. I exercised all the time. And a lot of people tell me that, you exercise. The only thing exercising helped me to do is probably not gain 30. Because I gained. I gained because I ate all types of garbage. Anybody that brought me a piece of cake to that hospital, to that desk, I ate it. I didn't turn down anything. It's just I was in that mood, and and that happens. But did I want to say, all my hard work, I'm gonna put it in the trash? Now, somebody gave me a reality check. She put me on the scale, and she wasn't pleased. I wasn't pleased, but I was more accepting of it than she was. And so, y'all know what 40 pounds feel like? Have to carry it? Yeah. Well, she made me put a 40-pound sandbag on my back, and I had to run up and down the racket room in the gym. So I said, okay, well, I can see she's mad, but this okay. This okay. This will pass. No, she made me go up the steps, and then she made me go around the track with that 40 pounds on my back. That was the first time around it was on my back. The next time she made me carry it here in the front of me.
Just as a reminder what it felt when she had that extra 40 pounds in her stomach. I was just trying to be helpful. Yeah. I'm still not over that yet. And this sweet little old lady came by, and she asked her, "Can't you help her?" And I said, "Yeah, I can."
But it was a great reminder. Sometimes we need that reminder, because I could go to Weight Watchers every week and get on the scale. But guess what? I have this sweet person or that sweet person. They'll say, it's okay. It's okay. But see, the thing about it, as long as I'm hearing it's okay, then guess what? It's gonna be okay, and I'm probably not gonna turn down the bake sale at work the next week. And somebody told me to start making donations versus purchasing items. I'm getting a little better with that.
Just one thing to add in terms of just exercise. I had a client very early in my career as a personal trainer. Actually, I think I was paying her because she was kind of a guinea pig. No, just kidding. But no, she was actually a leukemia survivor. So when we first started working together, she was very physically weak. So she really couldn't do a whole lot. So we just began to focus on her eating, and she had to do that anyway. But she was in a wheelchair, actually, now that I think about it, and just not real ambulatory. But she focused on her eating, and that was the emphasis more so. I mean, we did a little bit of strength training as much as we could, but pretty much being almost pretty much wheelchair bound. And I don't remember the time period, so I don't want to exaggerate at either end of the spectrum. But she lost almost 30 pounds, not doing a whole lot of exercise, but just eating right. So I mean, they go hand in hand. But it's really, the bottom line, it just comes to behavioral change. And that's the biggest challenge for most of us. Let me do a quick, I stole this from my husband, so Dominique, you might recognize this. All right, just for a second, everybody just fold your arms. All righty, unfold them and refold them with the other arm on top. How's that feel? Different. But probably, maybe, some of y'all are already going back to that. Probably over time, it'll become your new normal. So, I mean, just that little change in not even 30 seconds was just different and awkward. And that's the biggest thing, the behavioral change is most people's challenge. And you definitely have to make a behavioral change. Eating right and making healthy choices and exercising. There was another question.
My question kind of relates to Rachel's about eating. Would you be willing to give an example of maybe a rundown of what you were eating in a typical day versus what you're eating now?
Girl, yes. I work 4 days a week, so I spend most time, and I work at a hospital. Well, that would consist of, you ever heard of McDonald's McGriddle?
No, of course
Bacon,
not.
egg, and cheese. Oh my God. Hash brown and a frappe. Yes, that's breakfast, and normally the bake sales come around. I'll have that about 8. The bake sale will come around maybe 9, 10. Yeah, and let it be a piece of homemade pound cake. I got that evil sin from my mother. Oh my God, I love pound cake, and I will buy 2 slices of that and have that. And the vending machine, I would normally get, I love Cheetos, and they have those big honey buns, and I have that also. So that's just breakfast and morning snacks.
Before 10?
Yeah, before 10.
You get to work at what time?
At 6:45.
Okay, go on.
So, and lunch would either be, now I'm kind of picky. I don't really like McDonald's lunch. So, whatever the cafeteria has, because I hardly ever, back then I never really carried my own lunch, so I ate out of the cafeteria, and remind you, I work in a hospital. So fried chicken day, especially Thursday, I'm going to have the fried chicken, but I would be smart, I would get a vegetable, I would get some collards, and along with the macaroni and cheese.
Balance.
So, I mean, I got my greens in, and I'm not big on cornbread and that type of stuff, so yeah, and I get the 32-ounce cup of sweet tea. Also, in the morning time, when I get that breakfast, I will get the sweet tea to have from McDonald's up until I get me some more sweet tea at lunchtime. So yeah, so and supper is, if I cook, I might cook. And now, let me remind you, I do not know how to fry anything. So those people that like to say, well, I grill and I bake everything. Well, how about, I don't know how to fry anything. I grill food, and I baked food long before I ever started my journey. And I still had a weight problem. But because that macaroni and cheese that I would put with it and dressing and so. But yes, that was pretty much my norm on, I would change out the McGriddle for maybe the bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit or the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuits. And if if I wanted grits, the takeout containers, I'll have large cheese grits and 2, the big link sausages and scrambled cheese eggs. That would, I would have that if I got it from the cafeteria.
And
Now, I love pancakes, so I have these protein pancakes that I really love, and
I think they're like 23 grams of protein per serving.
Yeah, they're really good because one thing, I do not substitute bad food. I know people say, well, I eat this because it's healthier, but it doesn't taste good. Well, I can't do that. If it's not good, I'm not going to eat it. I tried asparagus. They're not for me. Brussels sprouts are not for me. But now, like, I either have like the protein pancakes, and I love egg white omelets with vegetables. I don't have to have meat in it. I never thought that. But I'm also picky about my vegetables. I like peppers and spinach. What else I put in that thing? Oh, tomatoes. And and it depends, and some 2% cheese maybe. But I'll have one whole cup of egg whites. At first I tried to just separate the eggs. That's too much trouble for me. So I just buy just regular egg whites. And if I have meats with my breakfast, I have turkey bacon, and I have the applewood turkey bacon because I'm picky about that too. The rest of it tastes nasty to me. So, and I eat a lot of chicken and fish, but I was doing that before I ever started. It's just I prepare it in a different way. Instead of putting butter, in my chicken when I put it in the oven, like the whole stick. I mean, I'm being honest. Now I really experiment with seasonings. I've learned that from Robin and from Michelle. I just try a lot of seasonings, and I still like my collard greens, and I cook them in turkey necks versus pigtails and ham hocks, and they still taste good. And it's the same thing. I season them very well.
What about lunch? You take your lunch, or do you just decide when you get there and just wing it?
That's when I run into trouble. I prepare my lunch. On Sundays, I prepare my lunch for Monday and Tuesday. I'm off on Wednesdays. Wednesdays, I prepare my lunch for Thursday and Friday. So, and if I have to work on Wednesdays, then I prepare, Sunday. I'm a little picky there too. I know you see all those people on Facebook that has 5 days worth of food, and I can't do that. I can't eat that much leftover. That's too much. So,
but the point is you plan ahead.
I do.
So you don't have to eat impulsively or just react or just,
Because if I don't, during that time when I had the weight gain, I really wasn't doing a whole lot of cooking, and I was eating what was at the hospital. And I still say it's a hospital, but it doesn't offer a lot of healthy choices. So I hope that answers your questions. What?
I'm just wondering, you mentioned your knees and how they hurt and all. I mean, did you ache when you walked when you were overweight? Did your back ache? Did you have back problems?
My knees killed me. I took Mobic. At 47 years old, I was taking Mobic for my knees every day. And along with my Mobic, my blood pressure medicine, and my glucophage, all three things that are terrible on my kidneys. And but now I don't take anything, so I'm very happy about that.
And that not taking anything, that is under doctor's knowledge and supervision.
Yeah.
That wasn't a trainer that said come off anything.
Nah.
That wasn't her independent decision. Her physician is in sync with this whole
Yeah.
process
And
and
she-
well aware of her not being on medication.
Yeah, and she didn't. I have a my doctor is Dr. Davis Smith, and she is not a person that quickly take you off. My blood pressure medicine, when my blood pressure started running low, I was taking 2 pills, hydrochlorothiazide and Norvasc. She took me off the Norvasc first. I wanted to come off of both of them, but she said no. So she took me off of one, and when I went back again, well, my blood pressure was like running really low. So when I went back, she said, "We'll try 7 days, monitoring my blood pressure." And currently, my blood pressure runs 110/60 without meds.
Wow.
My A1C is now 5.2. I didn't, and again, I was taking glucophage twice a day, 1,000 milligrams. She made me just go down to 1 a day, and then we went down to none. So the Mobic, once my knees stopped bothering me, I couldn't believe it. One day I was like, I'm not gonna take this Mobic because my knee is, it's not bothering me. And one of the nurses at the hospital said, well, that's probably because you have it in your system. I said, well, we're gonna take it out of my system and we'll see, what happens. And I made it. I mean, running, skipping. I skipped at the last boot camp.
Me too.
Yeah. She tried to, I had to show off that I could skip. And so it was
Skipping is
another
another thing she's been practicing. So.
Yeah. Anything that I can't do for is exercising, I practice until I can.
And see, and that just inspires me because, most people, like when she talked about practicing a burpee, I mean, if anybody knows what a burpee is, most people just hate them. But this is the woman that is excited about, it inspires me. I mean, not even as a trainer, but just as another human being. It just inspires me. And honestly, there are times when I'm doing my own workout and, I don't have anybody to be accountable to because, I'm just doing my thing. And, there's nothing that stops me from saying, I don't feel like doing it anymore, I'm going home. And I get images of Tanya in my head doing stuff, struggling, doing some things, doing stuff that are not a struggle for me. And that inspires me to finish what I came to the gym to do and complete the process. So I just want you to know that you inspire me. You really do.
Well, I'm going to say this last thing. That's my pastor back there. Raise your hand, pastor. We used to have services on this campus. When I look back there at them, I thought about this at Newton Chapel. And are y'all familiar with that? Okay, so you know all the steps up there. Well, okay, when I started going there, I was over 300 pounds. I'm like, I don't know how often I'm going to visit this church because, it was a task to get up. It's 2 sets of steps. And I would go up the first set, stop, me and my daughter would breast. Then it's that flat area. Then I get there to the next set, go up them, and before I open the door to go into the building, I will stop just so I could catch my breath. And I will never forget the Sunday that I realized that I walked up both sets of the steps and didn't stop. That was just to go to worship. That was a challenge. It was a challenge, but I made it, didn't I?
I think you're going to heaven.
Somebody over there had a question.
There's another hand, Jennifer.
I've known you for a long time and Michelle for a long time, and you've heard through many years, you always hear people talk about it, Weight Watchers, it's my splurge day, which I don't like because I feel like a splurge day leads into another day.
Mine's a
And
month.
I try to get them to say, have a splurge meal. For me, it's having bread with something that I don't normally do. Do you have splurge days, or do you find that leads you into trouble and you may have something different that you don't normally
close my ears.
You know, does that lead you to trouble if you try to dig that out? Or
When,
occasionally have something special that you don't have?
a behavior that I had when at you know, early on at Weight Watchers, Michelle knows this, Saturdays, that was my splurge day. I would go eat anything and everything that I wanted all week. And I, you know, most of the time it'll start at Panera Bread. And remind you, I've done Weight Watchers. I mean, I remember when she came to Weight Watchers and became, you know, the receptionist. I've done Weight Watchers, I promise you. The last time I called the 1-800 number to find out how many times I had been, I had been signed up like over 40 times. That was not even including before they went to computers, you know. So yes, and I, you know, no, Kim can vouch for it. We leave Weight Watchers when it used to be Ryan's there where Arthur George is at. Yeah, all you can eat. I don't frequent buffets anymore, but because somebody has a little saying for buffets, so I don't frequent the buffets. And so for us, the cheat meals, I don't call them cheat meals. Now I just, if I decide I want a slice of pound cake, I just have a slice of pound cake, you know, versus having, you know, instead of having a fourth of the cake, I get a slice. You know, that's the difference now.
And just to piggyback, I mean, I know the question was in terms of how she handles it, and everybody's different, but you know, what I tell most of my clients pretty much is to just do that. I mean, because I think sometimes once you turn it into this big grand event and celebration, you know, it becomes a week-long celebration. You know, you get that craving, you get that urge. You know, just give into it, satisfy it, and move on. You know. Yeah.
And you know, and sometimes it can be the hardest thing, but then you have to decide what do you want more. You know, it's I'm not going to tell you, I'll be lying to you if I tell you that, oh, it's easy to tell the lady with the bake sale that, you know, listen, I'm just going to give you a donation and would you take your card on? You know, it's not, because, you know, I work with people that like to eat and they like to bring food and they like to share. And so a lot of times, you know, my mama told me a long time ago, it's okay to say no thank you, you know, but and sometimes people are offended and think you don't want their stuff, then that's their issue. Because if I hadn't stopped the behavior that I had, I probably wouldn't be here. Because, you know, even though my cholesterol was, you know, it was there borderline, but it was creeping. And at almost 400 pounds, I was becoming an invalid. You know, and I started this journey, I was 45 years old. So, you know, even though I have some supportive friends, and let me tell you, the best people you can ever meet, though, is in the gym. I mean, really. I was that person that I thought everybody was going to judge me because, hey, I didn't look like, you know, everybody else at the gym. But you don't ever know anybody else's journey. See, my friend right there, Michelle, stand up for him. Does she look like anyone that's ever had a weight problem? She's lost over 100 pounds also. Yeah. And pretty much, you know, but so you don't ever know where people are at in their life, you know, and people look at me as still, I, you know, think that, you know, hey, she's a fat girl, baby, you need some help.
Wow.
You know, but it's okay. It's fine. Yeah, I do. I mean, I accept the help. That's bad of me, but I do. Because you can't just judge people. You don't know where they're at in their life. But I had I met people at the gym that would, you know, go. You can do this. You can do this. I mean, when I was walking around the track and was the last person, you know, I had this group that, hey, you did it. And so those same people, you know, at this last boot camp when I was running, And we were running side by side, me and Angela. That felt so good. We were running side by side, and she was that person that would, you can do this, Tanya, you can do this. So, I mean, it doesn't matter where you're at, and it does, you know, you have to be concerned about you, not this person next to you. I mean, hey, she can leg press over 600 pounds, but guess what? I can do a little over 300. Hey, I'm happy about that. You know, that, I mean, you know, because her workout does not affect my body. She likes to tell me when I don't want to tell her what I've had to eat. She said, what you eat does not affect my butt. So
I do. I say, what you put in your mouth doesn't affect my stomach, doesn't affect my hips, my thighs. So, you know, you can not tell me what you write in your food journal or what you don't write. You know, it will be reflected. So one of the things I will say that, you know, when Tanya talked about feeling self-conscious in the gym, and I think that's a very common feeling. You know, again, it's out of your comfort zone. You know, anything. I mean, it doesn't even have to be the gym, but in this case, you know, that's what we're talking about. She said to me, you know, I just feel like people are going to look at me and just judge me. And I said,
don't say it.
I don't think this, I'm going to say it. I said, I don't think this is the environment where people will look at you and judge you. I said, I think the environment where people will look at you and judge you, even after you've lost 100 pounds, they just don't know. I think the environment where you're more likely to be judged, especially if you're overweight, is the buffet line. That's where people are going to look at you and judge you. I'm just being real. That's, you know, you see an overweight person at the buffet, and they could have already lost 200 pounds, but you're still going to look at them and judge them. You see an overweight person in the gym, and for the most part, I mean, yeah, you always have jerks. You have jerks everywhere. But for the most part, it's a really supportive environment. It really is.
And I would have never thought so. Honestly, I would have never thought so. Another thing, you know, she has so many different things that she tells me and they just stick in my head. But when I first started training with her, and when her and Michelle convinced me to go to this RIP class, and you know, I'm that person that I'm in the very back, and I want to be next to the pole so that when I need to get up, you know, off the floor, I'm able to. Well, and I told Robin, I said, you know, sometimes if I can't get next to my pole, I just want to leave the class. Well, she had this bright idea. She said, well, and she was so serious. I'm like, she has lost her mind. She said, it's okay. If you don't get a pole, then when you need to get up, just crawl to one. But you know what? But the thing of it is, guess what? That's what I needed to do. You know, that's what I needed to do.